He said, "Tell Carrie to be quiet."
We're live. We're live. Welcome everybody. It's Sunday. Looking at the clock. It's June 20th. It's Father's Day. And for you Barney Stinson fans out there, happy not a Father's Day, but for the fathers out there, my father passed away, several years ago at this point. But I think of him every year, and it's like not a somber note, but so you're a father of a few fine kids, or at least one. Two fine kids. Okay. I say a few. A few means two, right?
I thought a few is three or more.
Oh, I didn't know that. A couple. How about that?
There you go.
Happy Father's Day to you. And maybe you want to share what you got, and even if it's food, and if it's a hug, or it's some special once a year type of gift or something like that. So inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Father's Day was good. I didn't do much. I don't. It's not a big deal to me. So I got me a gift card to a coffee spot out here, so that's nice. Get me some nice coffee one of these days. And they took me out to dinner to my favorite Italian restaurant.
What did you get? Chicken parmesan?
No, I got lasagna al forno, baby. Oh,
Alfredo?
No, al forno. That's where they top the lasagna with cheese and bake it. Ooh.
Number one, first of all, anybody that knows what lasagna, it's always topped with freaking cheese. So,
no, but they put extra cheese and then bake it again.
Did they have
the cheese crusts over and everything? It's delicious. But
that sounds good.
Yeah, like you, my dad passed away. Oh man, over 10 years ago now, I guess, and that's kind of the inspiration to some of my series on YouTube, like the Retire with Less and things like that, because I want to. You only get one life, right? So you might as well go do what you want, and try to do it as soon as possible, and not wait until till you're 70 or something like that, and then you can't do it. So
that's why I kind of started the other channel, is to try to bring that journey along and force people to realize that there's more to life than working, and most people are going to work. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just going to have to work until they die. Many people are still going to have to work till they're 65, and then very few are going to be able to work till they're, at least 55. And a very select elite group is going to be able to retire any sooner than that, right? And it's people that found the fire journey. The sooner you find that, the faster you start, the quicker you start, the faster you're going to get there. So absolutely. I like your series, Retire with Less. That's an impressive series, in my opinion. And if everybody should be following that, right? That's just starting this journey. The more information you can take in, the better, right? You find fire, the quicker you find it. You start watching videos, you watch other people's journey, where they started at, where they're at in their plan and the retirement or the investments they're in and all that. It's definitely something that everybody, because think about it, right? Even if you can't retire, or you miss your goal, right? You miss your goal by 10 years or 5 years, you're still going to be better off, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's the key. Just want to ask you a quick question about your gift card you got. Is that something you can go to by yourself, or is it like implied that you have to take a date there? Assuming you got to take your wife there.
Well, for me in my household, when I get a gift card, it's usually a community gift card.
I'm like, this is kind of selfish. You get a gift card and you got to take her on a date. It's like
my gift cards are always community. Like, it's just the way it goes.
And this is the reason why I'm still single, folks. That's how I think. I mean, at least you didn't want flowers, so that's good.
Yeah.
We got a couple of folks in here, a couple of usual suspects. We got Matt Money in here, hanging out, I think, in good old PA up there. Let's see. I think you're in PA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
We got All Good. We had some real talk last night with All Good. We wore her out. She went to bed. Finished my walk early. Theta Gang boy. Yeah, weather's we're 80 here right now. Don't even know what those are. Gift box of some sort. I don't see anyone above Matt. If yeah, well, All Good was first, and then MDB I think was second, which knocked off All Good because I don't know. YouTube's just weird about like that crap, but
You got to screenshot those.
yeah, you got to screenshot them. You got to put them in the Discord. Otherwise, it's not real. I don't see anyone above Matt. Yeah, okay. So just to give a shout out to Thumper here, he did put out a astronomically long video today, 47 minutes, and that's fine because that's what it took to get it done, right? But it was an option series 101, so it's a beginner's option series. I thought it was pretty well put together. And Gerry and I had thought about doing stuff like that for many months, and it just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of talking correctly, not Dave talk, not Gerry gibberish, right? It's just, and I think that Thumper nailed it. So go ahead and take a look at that video if you're just getting started with options, because I think it was very well put together. It's not an easy video to do. That's why I haven't put one out. So have you seen it yet, Gerry?
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was top notch. Easy to follow, easy to understand. I think it's great for the new people. Anybody new in here, absolutely go check it out.
Exactly. So we got All Good here. She went out to dinner with her old fart, probably. Got Gerry's wife. We got, I don't know what that is. You're turning purple for some reason. Watching ads. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching those ads. Go and give me a super chat. I got you $100 set aside for you. Basically, I'm letting that molasses get real sticky. Honestly, Friday was tough. Like, I don't know. We'll talk about it here just in a second. But my dividend portfolio alone on Friday took an $8,000 hit. And it's like, but the income's still $23,000. That's the great thing about it, dividend income, right? You're the value is going to go down by a boatload, and I like to just say a buttload, but the income's still the same unless they cut the dividend for some reason. And right now nothing's cut, but it's still a hard thing to look at every day. Like, oh shoot, and that's not even talking about the 401k. That's not talking about the options accounts. So it was a pretty tough day, but that's just part of the game. We continue to go down 10 or 15, 20%, then put more money in the market if you got money, or just, look in the couch cushions to find some pennies and quarters and dimes and half dollars and Susan B. Anthony's and whatever else, loonies if you're in Canada.
Sacagawea? Is that the one?
Loonies. But let's see, what else is there? A toonie? It's a loony and a something. I don't know them all. Those darn Canadians.
All I know is Looney Tunes. So
Looney Tunes, yeah. So what was I getting on? Oh yeah, just so I'm gonna recap my week real quick here. We'll get through the rest of the list here as well. My week was it was okay. I took $1,000 realized profit for the week, just over $1,000. But going into, it was like about 11:30. I just look at the history. I got a log that kind of posts it. And I took 3 positions off just prior to the Fed announcement. So about 11:30 my time. And just because something felt off about this announcement. I just don't know what it was. It just something felt off. So I just took 3 positions off. What are those 3 positions that I took off? It doesn't really matter what I took off. Just to free up a little bit of buying power. And then the 17th, which was a Thursday, by the way, I put on a ton of stuff. Not just Thursday, but on Friday as well. So I put on, John Deere, Palantir, Spy, Arc K, put 2 Arc Ks on. One for expiry of July 16th, one for July 30th. And then I put an Apple on, and I put a Facebook on. And then on Friday, which, we're down, like 500 some odd points, I put an Amazon on, I put a Square on, I put a TQQQ on, I put a Shop, Netflix, Zoom, and Baba on. So that's a lot of stuff. I made some room to be able to take advantage of the market being down to put that stuff on. And I'm sitting about 39% buying power usage at this point, with roughly about $6,300 in options premium, baking unrealized. I'm down $1,100. So that's how quick things can move just in one day, where I'm up, $2,000 unrealized. I take some profits during the week, and then we have a down day, and then now I'm down $1,100 unrealized. But that's fine. I got nothing in the money. I guess the two making noise over here. I got two positions that are kind of I don't know, not suspect, but Campbell Soup, right? That's that POS position you got me in. That thing is it's pretty close to being in the money. It's about like 1.7% being in the money. And then I got GDX, and I can thank James Rowe for that one. What a piece of garbage that is. It's not his fault. It just doesn't have a high return for the amount of money that you put up. It's not even a lot of money, but it's about 3% from being in the money. It's just probably won't be a one I'll ever do again. So that's kind of a recap of my week. $1,000 profit. I'm up about $3,000 for the month so far. We got about a week and a half left. Hopefully I can scrounge out another $1,000 to $1,500, get me right where I want to be. I'm up about 30 grand year to date. So that's kind of recap. If you do have any questions or you want to know more, I did put up a blog post today on just the recap of basically the options for the week. And I pasted and posted a bunch of pictures and graphs and all that other junk in there. So if you're interested at looking at that, I'll put it in the chat here while Gerry goes through his list, or his recap, I should say.
Yeah, the week was great for me. I can't complain. I put on 13 positions for the week, and I took off 14, so I'm net one down. So using only about 31% buying power, which is quite conservative for me. I just can't get myself to be aggressive like I used to be. I can't do it for some reason, but ended up through all my accounts, because I trade options in a couple of different accounts, and I realized right around $975 for the week. Right just under $2,500 for the month. Works out for the week. It works out to almost a 1% return for the week. I can't complain about that. I do have a couple of positions that are a little iffy. The one that just Dave talked about was Campbell Soup. I'm not too worried about it. I see Campbell Soup as kind of like the AT&T, the Kroger, a lot of those consumer defensive position stocks. You really have to be pretty close to the money to make anything out of them, and they don't move very much. So I'm not worried about it. The other one was Southern Copper. We talked about it. It's ticker symbol SCCO. That one's currently in the money by just a hair, and I got to really think about how I'm going to play that one. I could end up taking a loss on it and just walking away. Of course, I could roll it. I could do all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I'll just play it by ear and see how it works out this next week. But yeah, I only have about 3,000 cooking so far for July, for the rest of July. So I'm kind of light on premium. We'll see how everything works out. Hopefully, I'd like to see a little bounce to begin the week. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's looking, if you follow Dave's thing, it's looking a little suspect, but you never know. So that's my week. If you want to know more, I do share my Wednesday to Tuesday activity on my YouTube channel every Wednesday. So if you want to know more details of actual positions and things like that, check those out.
I did forget to mention, I did take a loss on NVIDIA last week. So that was the 18th, which was, what was that, Thursday? No, Friday. So I did take a loss on NVIDIA. It was a naked call. Take that back. It originally started out as a strangle, right? Ugh, I'm trying to get back to the street. Here we go. So it started out as a strangle, and unfortunately, it was an 890 strike. But I mean, they announced that split and all that, and it just kind of looked very bullish, right? Despite this major run up, and I don't know. I think the shorts getting squeezed, and there probably wasn't a lot of shorts, but they're all getting squeezed. People piling into it, thinking it's going to do a Tesla, think it's going to do a Crapple, think it's going to do all those other stocks that split, and it started to. So I just decided to get out of it. I took a $360. Let me see. 369. Gotta have that 69 in there. $369 loss on it. But that day, I was up like 500 and some odd dollars in realized profit. So that's the reason why I decided to take that loss, because when I have realized profits there, I can just throw it out there and I'm still up for the day. It's a mental thing for me. I don't even have to worry about NVIDIA anymore at this point. Right now, was it going to hit that 890? With that thing expired July 16th. So basically, it's about a month out, a little less than a month out. It could have. I don't know. Who knows? I don't have to worry about it anymore at this point. It's off the radar. So I'm going to be very careful about the naked puts I put on, or excuse me, the naked calls I put on. It's just, they're just too, I don't know. That's where I take a lot of big losses, those darn naked calls. But,
yeah, for sure. I got one on John Deere, so we'll see.
yeah, that thing is not going to run very much.
No, I'm way up there at 380 or so should be fine.
So I took a couple other losses during the week, but they were just parts of spreads, so those don't really count in my opinion, because they're net gains. But that put, or excuse me, that naked call on NVIDIA was definitely a loss. What's Matt? He's about ready to go back to the airport. Yeah, I don't know. Nice. They still require masks at airports or what?
Probably. I just want to preface this: if you see me like grimacing and grimacing in pain, I'm dealing with a toothache right now, so that was a little tough for me to get through my week review there, because it was hitting me hard right there. So if you see me almost crying, that's probably why.
When are you gonna go to the freaking dentist?
I'm hoping they can get me in tomorrow.
Yeah, just don't tell them it's an emergency.
Right.
Jack up the prices on you. Let's see here. We got Mikaru. Gerry spends his birthday and Father's Day. Yeah, he absolutely does. That just so happens your birthday was on Sunday, right?
Not this Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that means next year it'll be on Saturday or Monday, right?
Correct.
All right, so we won't bother him on his birthday. Every day on my fire journey, I wake up and say, "What would Dave do?" That's what WWDD stands for. That's not weapons of mass destruction, because that's what WMD. But yeah, what would Dave do? Oh, he even said it. What would Dave do there? So we got Stock Ninja here. Stock Ninja, he's not even part of the Theta Gang group anymore. He's buying premium. He buys premium about 68% of the time now, until it doesn't work, and then he'll come back to the Theta Gang. Let's see here. We got Shamar Ravi. Jeez, that suck. Gerry, help me out.
I don't know. Like Jay could be silent, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Ravi? I don't know. I saw you in the comments, so welcome. So we got Gerry. I think he's the only father here besides. Well, I mean, not in the group, but I don't have any kids I'm aware of anyway. So Shoot blanks over here. Let's see what else we got. We got Christopher Blaine in the house. Happy Father's Day. I don't know if you're a father or not, Christopher. Christopher, if
But
you
if you
are,
are,
happy
happy
Father's
Father's Day.
Day. Yeah, a grateful old man, or grateful man, a grateful old man. I don't know if he's a father either. Most likely, he probably is. So happy Father's Day. Let's see here. What else have we got? Loonies and Toonies. There you go.
He's in
I was
Tunis.
right with the Toonie. I think I called it Tui, but Tui. Yeah, I knew it was two something. Um, hello from Dell, New Jersey. Wow, New Jersey.
Joyzy. That's
Jer-
Joyzy.
Jersey Shore. Yes, we have loonies and toonies instead of dollar bills. I hate all the coins. God, that would suck. You know, Australia's the same way though. They got like $5 coins and something like that. Some weird stuff like that over there. That would suck though. We honestly should get rid of the pennies. We don't even need pennies at this point. Probably can get rid of nickels. And nickels, you know what's funny about pennies and nickels? Pennies used to be made out of copper, and then they switched to something else. I can't even what they're made out of now, but they still cost more than what the pennies actually worth now to produce. Even because they're not even produced out of copper anymore, but they still cost more to produce than what the cost than what they're worth.
Right.
And the same thing with the nickels. The nickels used to be made out of nickel. Well, guess what? The nickels, they're not even made out of nickel anymore. So it's just kind of funny stuff there. And, you know, I think everybody probably knows this, but quarters used to be made out of what, like, I don't know, 80% silver or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was like
You can tell. You can tell with you.
60 something and before.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the sound difference when you find one.
Good luck finding one these days. Good luck. Everybody looks for them. So, let's see here. I wonder if those Canadian weedy pennies are worth anything. I think I have a few of those laying around. I stock look at my portfolio every so often. You're right. If the dividend income, yeah, I agree. That's all that matters. I look at mine every day, but you know, whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Because the way I look at it is if my portfolios go down, Matt Money's portfolio is going down. So we're even. So I still have some of the old Canadian dollar and $2 bills. Wow. I don't know what those look like. We actually have a $2 bill. My mom used to collect them. And nobody really even knows. Like, unless you're born, like, you know, a Gen X or older, you probably don't even really know that we even had a $2 bill. They're hard to find. You don't really see them anymore. Did you know we had a $2 bill?
Yeah, I used to love those things.
Well, you are a Gen Xer. You're almost before, you know, you're almost before Gen X. Whatever's before Gen X, you're almost one of those. So.
No, I don't think so. I thought you were more that way.
No, I'm definitely I'm bold and beautiful. We got Palanters. Yeah. See, he's even saying it now, you know. I said it in the live stream on Friday. The Palantir's going to zero, and I got a couple of kickbacks from it, but Kyle threw it up, I think, and then just got rid of it. Got David Hibson. Happy Father's Day, all. Yeah, happy Father's Day. Like I said, I don't know who's a father in here and who's not. We got Retire here. NVIDIA looks like ARM acquisition is going to go through. Yeah. Well, it's not just that. I think it's the stock split news, too. But I agree. I like ARM personally. I like ARM. I don't know how this affects, like, you know, sometimes I'm not enthused about certain, you know, MMAs, right? Like Red Hat getting picked up by IBM. I wasn't enthused about that. Like my company getting bought out by the company that I work for now. I was not enthused about that one bit, right? But you got to suck it up. And I just jokingly call Red Hat Blue Hat now just because. But in the same thing here, I was a big fan of ARM, but I'm not a hater of NVIDIA either, though. So I don't really care in this case here. But can you imagine, like, you know, can you imagine Apple buying out, you know, Samsung or something like that, right? Like, I love Samsung phones. You know what I mean? I don't want an Apple phone. That would just piss me off if they did that. So that just gives you an idea. I don't really care here so much, but I am a big fan of ARM. NVIDIA, I don't really care too much. I'm okay. I like their GPUs and stuff, but Matt Money 369. What the heck's that mean? Fun. Mother. He's. What is he talking about here? Does that hurt to smile?
No, that's a song.
I've never heard that one.
I'll have to share it with you later.
Yeah, share that with me. Why don't you guys serenade me that one? I am like, nah, man, come on, Cletus, you just got here just in time. We just started 25 minutes ago. Got all good, smiling, laughing, rolling on the floor. Yes, 2 kids there. So happy Father's Day to you. So he's got. So a grateful man is a father as well. So happy Father's Day. I think Market Scraper is a father as well. So happy Father's Day to him. Welcome, Market Scraper. Canada got rid of the penny years ago. Yeah. You know what's weird is I always thought Canada follows us. Whatever we do, they do. So normally they're behind by about 10 to 15, 20 years. So I guess we're just behind the curve of this time, Gerry.
Yeah, I remember those wheat pennies. You used to be able to pass them off at the stores.
Speaking of, you remember like in say grade school, maybe like 3rd or 4th grade, when you used to play with those cardboard currencies? Like they were like quarters and pennies and dimes and nickels, but they were made out of cardboard, but they looked like a penny and a quarter and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I used to pass those off to the ice cream man with a little bit of real money in there. This shit worked.
You just throw it into the pile.
Some of the things I did over the years. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Our money might not be as fancy, but we do have Looney Tunes. Wait, I thought you were in the US, Marcus Scraper.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You're in Canada? Dad jokes. Dad bod jokes. Let's see here. Do you think market correction starts tomorrow? It's already started, I think. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. It hasn't technically started. We don't know yet. But I'll tell you what. We're real close to dropping into that cloud, and we're just, right at that 50 period moving average, kind of like maybe even below it, maybe. So if we drop down below that, we could probably maybe even test the 200, right? And that'd be a pretty good correction, in my opinion. We already pulled back, 1.5% just this week? Was that what it was? Even more than that, I think. So I don't know. Time will tell. Market, what is it? The futures are down right now, 82 points. So about a quarter of a percentage point. That's not too bad. I'm not worried about it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. This could be the start of it, though. That Fed, stupid hot lips and Fed. What are you gonna do? Predictions.
I say it's not.
After tomorrow, it could be a little bit more clear. We do have a little bit of support right around the 404 on the SPY. Whole numbers are always good support. We did make a new high though, so just 3 or 4 days ago, that was a new high. So it's possible we could reverse, but the way you look at that last candle that we had on Friday, that's saying there's more downside, right? Until we put a reversal candlestick in, we're not going to reverse, in my opinion. So I don't know. Predictions? Toss a quarter.
A silver one.
A real one, yeah, silver. Oh, he's buying. Yeah, I was buying. Congress will be voting on some bills this coming week dealing with tech monopolies. I think that will create buying opportunities for tech stocks.
Are they talking about possibly breaking up big tech?
Well, I don't know. It's so confusing to me because big tech, big tech. Big tech has been the supporter of the left, which is very odd because they're the ones that want to break them up. So, or do they? I don't know. Maybe they're in the hands of the back pocket. I don't know. Maybe it's just legislation going in. I don't know who submitted that legislation, so I don't really follow it. I think it's ways off. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. What about you?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't pay that close of attention. I think I probably should. um, I rely on Dave to tell me what the market's going to do. And by the time he says it, it's too late. So what the hell?
I just don't get why that even matters if they break up big tech. Because if you break up Amazon, for example, okay, just break it up into 2 companies, 3 companies. Well, so what? You invest in all the other 2 companies or 3 companies, or you don't invest in one of them that's a piece of shit, and you invest in the other ones, right? I mean, why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like it's
I don't know. I don't understand the I don't understand the argument against monopolies. And anybody that gets into business, they want to take all market share. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of business you're in.
I had a discussion with my dad like back when Microsoft was getting sued for a monopoly. That was a long time ago. And he asked me what I thought about it. And he was a Microsoft side, which is very surprising. I'm a free market person, right? I'm all for that too. And but I understand why monopolies can be bad too, right? Like Walmart's a good example. People hate Walmart. Oh, Walmart, they treat their employees so like crap. I'm like, what my thought on that is? The employees get treated like crap. They can go work somewhere else. Nobody forces them to work there. You know what I mean? So I think that's such BS the way to think, to say, oh, Walmart's a piece of crap. But here's one thing that Walmart did do that maybe some people won't agree with. They'll go into a community and then they'll open a Walmart and they'll undercut the prices for 6 months or a year of all the local businesses, because they can do that because they're so much, they're such a large retailer, right? And I think Amazon just took that trophy from them, but they can underprice any local business for a long time to drive them all out of business, right? Is that wrong or is that right? That's just business. That's good business, actually. But
that's what I'm saying. It's just business. I mean, anybody, you start a business right now, I mean, you're going to want to take market share from all your competitors.
And what's the opposite of that? It's government intervention and oversight. And so you're taking the free market away. If you're going to handcuff businesses, then there's no incentive to go out there and grow it or be the best business. And you know what I mean? Like that has consequences too, right? You think of Facebook, when they're going, when it dropped down to like 140 or 130 a couple years ago due to the whatever regulations and all that stuff. Zuckerberg's on the Hill and testifying and all that stuff. You notice how they made it to the top, right? Become a $400-500 billion company, make it to the top, and then they call for regulation, right? That's BS, because it's very hard for another company to start up and compete with them. So they get to the top. Hey, we need regulation now. It's like, it's total bullshit right there.
Put caps on your innovation. Put caps on your thoughts. Put caps on. I mean, why aren't we putting caps on Tesla?
This is the exact reason why I hate regulation in general. I'm against regulation. Most regulation I'm against, right? And I'm okay with regulation that protects people as far as like companies doing, hurting your health or something like that, right? It's bad for the environment or something. But, I don't know if anybody heard here about the RPM Act at all, but let me just back up real quick here about the regulation thing. big companies that are already established, the regulation doesn't bother them at all, right? They're big enough. They've already paid the permits years ago. ExxonMobil, Chevron, they already paid all that stuff. So guess what? The regulation helps those companies. But imagine some trying to start up a new oil ginormous company. Good luck. You won't be able to do it. You won't be able to compete. So that's the reason why, whether you hate Trump or not, or you liked him, I mean, he cut a lot of regulation. That red tape actually helps businesses compete and bring up new businesses. That's the reason why regulation it's a chokehold. But I understand why some regulation needs to exist too, because companies can go rampant, and in my opinion, they can hurt the consumer, by putting, going through, I don't know, loopholes. It's a touchy subject. I get that. You want anything to add one there, Gerry?
Not really. I mean, as far as regulation, I mean, it's when I started my business, there was regulation. There's regulation that makes it extremely difficult for the small guy. It's like you got to jump through some hoops to get things done, and as a individual business person trying to navigate that makes it extremely difficult, sometimes impossible. And I agree with you there that it really stymies the small guy's ambition at some point, because you can get through some of this red tape and then you just, you know what, screw this stuff, I'm out. And it's just not good overall.
And when he's talking about monopolies and stuff like that, or capitalism, I mean, everybody should be for capitalism. And if you're against capitalism, then you're really, you're almost against, I don't know. I don't even know what to say there. The person that made that device or service or what product that's enhancing your life and making your life easier deserves to get compensated for it, right? That's the reason why capitalism works. Otherwise, I mean, the car or the phone, I mean, phone really doesn't help me, but you know what I mean? Like all those things that do help our lives every day that we use, right? If there's no incentive to create that product and develop that product and become a business and successful, and capitalism exists for a reason. I mean, otherwise, think about where we would be if we didn't have capitalism or nobody believed in it, What's the opposite of capitalism, Gerry?
What is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it would be sad. That's what I
Yeah.
think it would be.
I don't know. I've met a few people that were they were more against capitalism than were for it. So I'm like, I just don't see it. What about all those things you bought, right? And it's like, I just don't understand the thinking there. I would love to hear the argument for it though. The RPM Act, real quick, mentioned that there's an EPA is cracking down on businesses, businesses that modify cars, race cars, build race cars, and all that stuff right now, and they're fining them heavily right now, like $25,000, and they're saying and we're giving you a break, right? It should be $200,000, but they're giving them a break, so they pay it. And these are small businesses, by the way, like 5, 10 employees, right? And that's how they make their bread and butter, by modifying cars, making race cars, drag cars, circle track cars, road cars, and all that. And the EPA at this point, in my opinion, is overstepping their bounds. Like it used to be, you couldn't modify cars beyond. They made them, taking off smog devices or something like that. If the car was a race car, it got trailered and to the racetrack and stuff like that. It wasn't even registered or something like that. It didn't matter what you had on. You didn't know Cadillac converters or something like that. Now, what they're saying is any car with had a VIN number, any car that had a VIN number, you can't modify, period. You can't modify whether it's going to be trailered, it's going to be a track car only, or nothing. If it had a VIN number, you can't modify it. So that's where we're at right now. And here's the thing is, all this smog stuff, like a diesel, what, 2007 and above, you got to have the DEF and all that crap in there. What about all that shit that produced that DEF in this big old, like, I don't know if you know how the DEF works, but to produce all that, the trucks to truck all that product, the trucks, all the big gigantic container ships, which don't have any smog regulations at all, which produce more freaking smog than all the cars in the world, right? Like, you see the hypocrisy there, you know? What are they trying to do? Is that really making the world cleaner by having some of these things on there where you have all these container ships that, pollute more than all the cars in the world, right? Like, it's just seems so stupid to me. People need to realize when things are all about money and they're not about clean air at all, really. It's all about money. That's enough of that talk. I just bought Ass Gasket stock. Hey, there you go. Using my saying, you got shit ticket stock, huh? So she's talking about Kimberly Clark here, by the way. Kimberly Clark is a great deal right now still. I don't know why. Somebody mentioned the comments this weekend actually and said it's like it's like because now we're done with the pandemic, nobody needs to wipe their ass anymore. That's what somebody basically said. What's that?
Like, I was just about to say that. I'm like, I'm getting low. I do need to go buy some. So, I mean,
it's kind of funny though, because, and I basically responded back to the person and said, I think it's the pandemic that just made people stress out, had the stress shits is what it was. So it could be truth there. Could be both of those things could be true. You got Jober in the house. Let's see, pushing back. I'll watch until I lose y'all. Oh, they're pushing back the airplane at this point. Yeah. 2 pieces of knowledge. I love bargain shopping. Me too.
Who doesn't?
She commented on my other channel saying she procrastinates changing the litter box. And that was the other one. Litter box and what? It's the litter box. Litter box and something else. I can't remember what it was. I procrastinated changing the litter box too when I had cats. Money doesn't sleep. Can't catch flights, not feelings. I'm in the US. I was just saying we have the cartoon show. Oh, okay. So he is in the US. Sell it all, buy VTI. Sell all what? I guess that's my question. Sell it all. Sell all of what? Right? Sell all the wish.
Sell it all and buy it all. That's kind of what you do right there.
Well, I mean, if you sell all the junk and then buy VTI, I'm okay with that. It's just I don't know what he means by sell it all. It just depends on what you're in, I suppose. If you're in, VOO, why would you sell all that to go in VTI? So let's see. The parts of the big tech companies are often worth more than the whole. Amazon and Google would likely create more shareholder value. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. The question is if they do break up the companies, would the other companies be large enough to be in the S&P 500 or something like that? Right? Is that breaking them up? It would be a separate ticker, right?
Then who gets kicked out?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to kick out ExxonMobil? I mean, ExxonMobil's already kicked out, right? I'm just saying, did they deserve to get kicked out by Tesla? I don't know. ExxonMobil was the largest company in the world at one point, not that long ago, folks. So monopoly talks equals buying opportunity. I agree. Yeah. I do have in my schoolie fund, I have QQQQM in there. So, I'll keep buying if it goes down. Absolutely. DR to Cuba. Yeah, he's not in DR either. So we got Ryan Giffen in the house. I don't know. He put a video. I got to look to see if he put a video out on crypto. I'm down in Cuba. No, he's not. I thought he was in Pennsylvania.
No, he's down to go to Cuba.
Oh, he's down. I'm down. Oh, he's down 4. Okay. Gerry keeping me honest here. I'm underpricing the competitors. Yeah. I'm underpricing the competitor. Who is the competitor? Let's see, we got here. Apple is the only text I own right now. Plan on holding for a long term. Governments can't get VA hospitals right. Yes, that's true. So I don't trust them to get dealing with tech right. I don't trust government, period, with anything. I mean, he mentioned 2 things here. I don't trust him with anything. That's just me. We could do better without the government with almost everything, in my opinion. You know, and like I've mentioned on other streams, if we need a government, we need a federal government. Let them do what the only thing they were supposed to be doing was provide security for the country. That was really the only thing they were for. And then now they just start trying to take over way, like they're trying. You notice they keep taking over more and more and more stuff, right? And the states have less and less power.
That's kind of what's interesting is that you talk about a monopoly.
Yeah.
Government.
But people are for that monopoly.
Exactly.
For some reason. That's a huge monopoly, right? They dictate almost everything you can or can't do. You actually think we have freedom in this country? It's really, the thing is, it's not as much freedom as you actually think. You know what I mean? Yeah, it might be more freedom in most other countries, but it's not that much freedom. You can't do whatever you want here. I'm not talking about hurting people and stuff. Nobody wants to do that, right? Well, some people want to do that, I guess, but I'm talking about, like, can you drive as fast as you want? No, no. Can you pretty much do anything you want within reason? You can pretty much do with limits. You can, yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's as free. I mean, I can't. Now that you're talking, you can't modify your car the way you want to. You can't. You're limited on. Well, I guess we shouldn't get too deep into stuff, but you're limited on things that you can buy, and you know, in certain areas it's different than other areas, so it's not as great as you think.
Don't even talk about fishing. Jeez.
Oh, I hate fishing. Oh, that pisses me off like big
Fishing
time.
is very tough in this country. If you're in an RV and you're like traveling across the country, but you want to fish in various lakes, every state you go to, guess what? You got to get a fishing license for every one of those freaking states.
And that for a non-resident is expensive.
Not only that, they go like calendar year to calendar year. They don't, like, if you bought it like December like 24th, it expires like the end of the week. You know what
and there's no discount either.
No. So it's the fishing in here. The thing is, I haven't lived in California for a long time back in the day. If they catch you with no fishing license or too many fishing poles in, or they will take everything that you have there. If you have like a $40,000 boat right there that you're fishing in, that boat is gone. They will take everything. It's serious.
That's horrible. Absolutely.
Should there be some regulation when it comes to fishing? I think so. Like, maybe there should be limits and stuff. I get that, right? But it's serious, right? And they don't make it easy to get a fishing. I mean, you can go to Walmart, get one, but it's just, there should be a national fishing license,
Absolutely. National fishing license, national driving license, national hunting license. There should be all that.
National concealed weapons carry.
Yes, that too.
But then at the same time, would all that stuff be under the Fed?
There you go. See, that's what I'm saying. That's where we're talking about freedom. So that kind of just screws it up right there.
That does, because the Fed, you don't want to have more stuff under the Fed. You want to have individual states that have different things. So I get that point. We just basically made an argument against that. Exactly the same thing we're trying to argue against, right? Having the different states out there gives you the freedom to move to another state because they have higher taxes, they have lower taxes. That, you know what I mean? Like, but the fishing license thing is the pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't. There's no way. Yeah, I don't know how to. Honestly, I don't want that stuff to go to the Fed. You want less stuff under the Fed. right? And more stuff under the more stuff back to the state, because that way you have more freedom to move around to where you want to go, to a state that supports what you believe in. But yeah, I don't know. Shoot, we're off in the weeds there. Argued with my family last night why regulation against price gouging is bad. You know what? That's another off in the weeds subject, because I've had arguments about that in the past too. I'm actually for raising prices up during crises, right? And I've had people argue against me and say that's not right, you know. And the argument for it is let's just say there's like one plane ticket left, right? And they raise the price up for $5,000 this plane ticket when it's normally $200. $5,000 for one plane ticket to get out of there because of some name storm coming through, right? $5,000. And people will argue and say, that's not right. What about the poor people? They can't afford, you know. I'm like, what I say is whoever really needs that will buy it. The person that really needs it will buy it, right? They'll find the money, whatever. I get it though. I don't know, Gerry, what do you think about price gouging? I'm for price gouging to a certain extent because it's supply and demand, right? If somebody needs that, they're gonna buy it.
It's hard because we operate all about supply and demand. We're in the stock market. We're buying and selling. It's supply and demand. You don't have to buy what someone's selling. You don't have to, you know what I mean? So how do you, let's see, we'll go back to the pandemic, right? Everybody freaking bought up freaking toilet paper. They had storage lockers full of freaking toilet paper, right? And I mean, that's like, is it wrong?
I think it's funny. Remember that guy that had the box truck that filled it full of freaking hand sanitizer?
I think it's kind of jacked up, but is it really wrong?
I don't know if it's kind of messed opportunity. It's an opportunity, right?
Right. It's a little messed up on a certain level, but I get it.
It is. I understand where you're coming from, because what if that was all the sanitizer in the country, and because people don't have sanitizer, they're dying, right? Like, I get it. There's a moral side to it, I suppose, right? But I understand the business opportunity side of it as well. I don't think that guy should have been prosecuted for what he did, right? He literally got in trouble for what he did. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
first of all, I don't think hand sanitizer is going to save your life, but
he didn't do anything wrong, right? I mean,
he didn't.
There was no regulations at that time to tell him that he couldn't buy up the whole damn store of toilet paper. There's nothing wrong with that. There was we weren't declared war where, okay, we have to ration this stuff, and nobody said it, like they did in the 40s or whatever it was. So I don't think they did anything necessarily wrong.
Well, and I don't even think he marked the prices up like crazy either. I think he marked the prices up obviously beyond what he paid for that stuff. That's just business, right? And people are doing it on Amazon too. Because I ran out of toilet paper. I had many shit tickets for quite a while. Thankfully, JMac Investing sent me 4 rolls. So I was getting ready to use some leaves for quite a while. But I looked on Amazon to get some toilet paper off there. Good luck. You have to pay a fortune for it. And the thing is, if I really needed it, I would have I would have paid a fortune for it. Who cares? That's supply and demand. And I've heard of people doing the same thing with sheets of plywood. They stack up sheets of plywood, and then a name storm comes through and they start selling sheets of plywood, right?
I mean, think about it.
What is wrong with that per se?
That's what we do. Okay. So Kimberly Clark freaking drops to $80. You're going to accumulate as many freaking shares as you can, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. No.
So what's wrong with it?
It's just when it comes down to, honestly, airplane, flying on it, like them raising their tickets up and all that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You had time to get out of there by driving out of there. You waited to the last minute. That's your own fault, right? Like, it's just, people need to take personal responsibility for that. There's a reason why price gouging, and I don't even think that's the right word for it. I think it's supply and demand is a better way to say it, because if somebody really needs whatever that is that has some crazy jacked up price on it, they're going to pay for it. Period. Gasoline's a good example, right? They just had a crisis recently with that. Same thing with that. They had to raise prices because guess what? If you really need the gas, you're going to pay $10 a gallon for it, right? If you don't really need the gas, there you go. Somebody else you're saving it for somebody else.
Yeah.
It basically dictates the person that really needs it gets it. That's kind of weird. But I understand it too, because the people that have more money could afford it, right? I get that whole aspect too, though. Funny how socialists love to sit in Starbucks, eating their avocado toast, wearing their Nike products, and tweeting on their phones. Yeah, that's so true. I wouldn't call those people socialists, though. Some of them are, some aren't. I think you left a comment earlier talking about Coca-Cola being woke and all that, and I understand the point, but that's not going to stop me from investing in Coca-Cola. I'm still going to invest in Coca-Cola, even though they made an error in my decision and what they did, right? Michael Jordan said it best, right? Or was it Michael Jordan that said that? I think he said Republicans buy shoes too, right? So you don't want to alienate half your population, half your customers. And I think that's what Coke did for a short amount of time. Luckily, humans have a very short freaking memory, like goldfish. And I got chastised for saying that one time. Somebody said that goldfish actually are smart and have a pretty lengthy memory. But I don't know. You don't want to alienate half your freaking audience. And Nike, iPhones. Avocado toast. I've never had avocado toast, but it sounds good. God bless capitalism. Yeah, I agree. It's probably about the best system out there. Think of it. Think of like communism, for example, socialism, for example. In theory, they sound great, right? Look up the premise behind communism and socialism. It actually sounds okay. But in practice, it doesn't work at all, right? And it doesn't matter what you call socialism. You can call it the new socialism. You can call it, fruity socialism. You can call it the new democratic socialism. You can call it fancy socialism. You can call it whatever you want. Guess what? It's been tried so many times around the world, and every time it ends up with millions and millions of people dying. Look it up. Everywhere it's been tried, millions and millions of people have died, and it doesn't matter what you call it, it's still the same thing. And that's what they always tell us. That's how they try to sell it. And we're going to do it different. That's how they try to sell it to you.
It was always done differently.
Go ask Venezuela. Go ask those people that are searching. They're digging through those dumpsters trying to find scraps of food in there, how it's working for them. Communism is the opposite of capitalism. I think so. I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure.
So. Yeah, I was. That was the first thought out of my head, but I didn't want to sound like a fool, so I kept my mouth shut.
I just am a fool. I sound like a fool. I am a fool. Yeah. Bobby Fu, a capitalist opposite of polaritist. Shoot.
That sounds complicated.
That's too complicated for me. Tesla cars have 25% larger carbon footprint. That does not surprise me. But it's the government that's forcing electric. They forced us to go that way. And it's not even cleaner for the environment in general. I mean, those ships, like a lot of those ships, we're talking about big, humongous ships. Like they're all diesel electric, I think, and trains are all diesel electric, so they're not running clean. Yeah, they're producing electric on there with their generators. I can't even talk today, Gerry. With their generators, but the diesel, it's running unencumbered. Like it's just flat out, what are you going to do? I just don't understand why we have all the regulations for passenger cars and crap when that's not the issue. The proper definition is the monopolization of force within geographic territory. I think the key word there is force.
Yeah. Force isn't good.
No. It's proven private ownership of water or for fishing leads to higher preservation. So what you're saying is I need my own private lake.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make sure that you don't have a view from it where your pad is. Your 50 amp hookup. My house is going to have the view. Profit margin, flood supply chain. That's true. I agree. Yeah, it makes sense. China is down 3%. So you're talking about the markets right now? That's not good. Normally,
China?
I mean,
yeah.
Well, shoot. We come on the air, Gerry, and now we're down 150 points.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly looks weak. Market looks weak. We're dropping down into the cloud at this point, down below the 50. The 200s a ways down still, but it looks weak right now. But time will tell whether it's a correction or not. You can't really predict anything beyond. So if you are for price gouging, then you would have to be against patent protection. What? Why is that? Patent protection. No, I'm not saying you make a knockoff product. That way it would be open competition with the market deciding on the price between the original and the competition. I don't agree with this, the Grateful Man. Price gouging, then you would be against patent protection. No. If you have 5 airlines and they all offer a flight from Florida to Seattle, which, by the way, there's not a lot of flights that do that. But if there was 5 different companies, why wouldn't a company raise up their prices and the other companies raise up their prices? And then when they run out, there's only one company left offering it, then they can raise the prices even more. I don't get where you're coming from here. Do you get that one, Gerry?
Not really, because I'm trying to tie those together with items. Like if you patent a widget, then someone can't make the same widget and charge whatever they want to charge for it. But then, see, I don't know.
The thing is it all comes down to supply and demand. If there's only one company making a hoverboard, right, they can charge whatever they want. There's no competition, right? If they want to charge you $5 million for it, good luck. They ain't going to sell any, right? Maybe they might. I don't know. The thing is that's not price gouging. They're just pricing it whatever they want to price it at. That's not price gouging. Price gouging is, in my opinion, it's a price that's, $10, $5, whatever. And because the supply and demand is through the roof, they start charging $1,000 for it or something like that. That's price gouging, right? But it still comes down to supply and demand. That's the only thing that can cause it to go up. Or it's a lack of competition, because if there's no competition and the price is normally X amount of dollars, and there you go, it still comes down to supply and demand. There's just less companies supplying that demand, right?
think they're starting to show. You can look at the housing market, I guess, too, as well. Supply right now is low for rental homes, but the freaking prices of rent has skyrocketed.
It should
Now,
be though.
yeah. Now, do you want government control to go in there and put in rent controls? Because that's what's happening.
That's scary for landlords. I'm glad I'm not a landlord anymore. I can tell you that, because I don't want, and I honestly really came close to going the Airbnb route, getting a couple of houses downtown Seattle for Airbnb specifically. And luckily I didn't, because it came with some regulation on it. And most cities are doing it, So that, can you imagine having, I just don't like that. You think about like these people that have 10 houses, 100 houses or whatever, and something like that happens. You got the regulation coming in there forcing you to make half as much or whatever, and you've been retired for 20 years, and then all of a sudden this regulation comes in there and totally disrupts the amount of money you've been making, right? Like, that's wrong. That's wrong in my opinion. I got real lucky on my notes. Didn't have one person that, well, they could have defunct. I don't know what, but I can tell you this, because they're all investment properties, that all the investors paid me every month. So whether they got paid every month from their tenants, I don't know, right? Like, your landlord's a good example, right? Like, you could have got assistance, I guess, from the state, but I don't like the government putting a moratorium on this, saying, okay, you can't foreclose. But I understand why they did it, but the shit it rolls uphill, right?
Yeah, it
And
doesn't. It doesn't
who
compute.
eats it? You know who eats it? The person that can afford to eat it. That's the problem, right?
Well, that's not necessarily true either, because my landlord has another house, and once the state or Fed put in that moratorium that they can't evict anybody, the tenant immediately stopped paying rent. Hasn't paid rent since March of 2020, and he's still in the house.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is it rolls uphill. Your landlord can't collect now. So if he had a mortgage on that house, he's still liable to pay that, right? That's what I'm saying. The person that can afford to lose the money is the one that loses out, right? And I got, like, my flips are a good example there. I'm not even going to touch on those, but the people that rent the houses or whatever, this guy here is just living there rent free, It screws the landlord, right? Now the landlord could decide to say, okay, I'm not going to pay, so I'm not going to pay the mortgage, right? But okay, so the bank could foreclose on him, That affects him, because if he has, whatever, 20% lease minimum down on it, or even maybe the house is, half paid off, who knows? He loses all that money, right? So that's what I'm saying. The person that can afford to lose the money normally is the one that loses the money here. And I don't agree with that. The mortgage servicers, it's like, then that's the government for you. But I understand why they put it in effect too, but if they didn't, those people what would they have done? They probably would have moved in with family or whatever, They would have made it work somehow, right?
Yeah, because the guy that I was talking about, I mean, he qualified for all the stimulus, got all the unemployment, and didn't have to pay a dime in rent. So,
and he couldn't be kicked out. Yeah. Hopefully there's not a lot of stories like that. I'm so glad I'm not a landlord anymore. Because I don't have, that would have pissed me off right there, because you can't foreclose or you can't kick the guy out. And that's the same thing with my flips, by the way. There was a moratorium on foreclosures. I couldn't foreclose, even though the houses are vacant. They're vacant, but I could not foreclose on them. And guess what? That's costing me a boatload of money right there, for back taxes, being broken into, vandalizing, and all that stuff. Because of the moratorium, the houses are vacant. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why I just don't like a lot of this government oversight and intervention and all that stuff. It really just let the free market solve all those problems, right? Let the federal government deal with security of the country, and they can't even get that right. By the quality of the items, by the quality of the items. Yeah, but there's really the biggest issue there is the knockoffs that come from China. That's the biggest issue. But the people that buy that stuff, like I don't even know what they call those. They're called one wheels, I think is what they're called, right? They're made here, like Southern California. Well, I don't even live in California, but they're made in Southern California. They're called one wheels. Well, guess what? China knocked that off and made their own. But it's really a piece of garbage compared to the real one wheel. And that's exactly what he's talking about here. You want to pay $1,300 for the real one, or you want to get a piece of shit for $200 that might kick you off and break your neck. That's a Vu sitting in Starbucks. I don't know what he's talking about. I failed 100 times and exceeded once. Never lose hope. MJ, net worth 900 billion. He's not 900 billion. What's he talking about? Yeah, he doesn't have 900 billion. The richest guy in the world's like, what, just over 100 billion? Is that Bezos?
I think so.
Maybe he meant 900 million. Probably. And even that's a lot, honestly. I don't even think Jordan made more than like 90 million in his entire career or something like that. But he might have 900 million now. I don't know. There's not a lot of like people don't understand how rare billionaires are. There's not a lot of billionaires. It's I think it went up to like 1,700 or something in the entire world. And that was like 700 increase from last year. Hey, Dave, you are applying Roth conversion ladder to your early retirement journey. Are you applying? It's a tool. I got to get back up here to this.
I was going to say you jumped.
Yeah, it's because it skipped down on me and I didn't notice it. God darn it. I'll get back to this one, Christian. Darn it. I didn't even notice it jump. Darn it. I was disappointed to what KO did recently, but still, yeah. I here the thing is, people, if you really believe in the company or don't agree with what the company did for like whatever reason, you have that right to do that, and you want to invest in them. Have the right to do that, right? But you also have to understand, if you really applied that mindset to every company out there, you could find a reason not to invest in them, right? Every stock is a sin stock. In reality, every stock could be a sin stock, right? Look at Kimberly-Clark. Oh, they cut trees down, rainforest, whatever. Every stock could be considered a sin stock if you look at it that way. So you're not going to have anything left to invest in.
Yeah, there'd be nothing. I don't think would be anything. McDonald's, can't invest in that.
Coke, Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, J&J.
Nothing.
Let's not even talk about Altria, right?
Yeah, there's nothing. I can't think of one thing that you can invest in that there wouldn't be any sort of question about their practices or anything. I don't think one exists.
So I understand here. Coca-Cola did what they did. I don't drink their product anyway. I haven't touched their product in over like 16, 17 years. Pepsi, I don't drink their stuff either. I drink sparkling water that's natural. I drink Zevia that's natural. No food coloring, no sugar. That's just me. But do I invest in Coca-Cola? Do I invest in Pepsi? Absolutely. You know why? Because many people drink their products. That's why. And it's just dumb not to invest in them. That's, what they did there in Atlanta. I don't agree with it, but I'm still going to invest in the company. And I've heard people saying, what is it, like AT&T jit me on my bill or whatever. I'm never going to invest in them. I'm never going to use their product. Look, I think there's two different things there. Investing in the stock is different than using their product or buying their product, right? I would say companies that I just don't believe in or don't agree with their practices, I probably won't use their products, but I'll probably still invest in the company. There's two different things there.
Yeah, definitely. Because I hated I had AT&T internet before I switched, and it was absolutely horrendous. And I cut them off, and I bought some shares.
There you go.
I quit smoking cigarettes. And I bought the stock. So
So yeah, I know there's people that hate J&J because of the whole talcum powder thing, but honestly, did it even come down to that they were liable? Other than just because you pay doesn't mean you're liable, or doesn't mean you were guilty, right? I don't think that it can. I thought it got thrown out or came to the conclusion that they didn't do anything wrong. But J&J, I mean, can you imagine not investing in J&J? Got James here. Hello, Dave and GW in Denver. So only scanning the video. Okay, yeah, you can watch it in replay when it's back up. Let's see. What's up, gentlemen? I know that James is a dad, so happy Father's Day to you, James.
yes.
And don't recommend GDX and crap like that anymore. Just kidding. What's up, gentlemen? What's up, Petey? I don't know. Petey's, I think, a dad, right?
Yeah. New dad. Newish.
Newish dad. So happy Father's Day to you, Petey. Gerry, is the ETF dividend info you post on your community tab from IB?
No, it's from the interwebs.
I thought that was from Fidelity, but no. Always be buying.
Gotta always be buying.
That reminds me of what they say on Shark Tank. Always be closing.
We always be selling.
Yeah, always be selling premium. Patent protection hurts consumers.
I kind of agree.
Well, depends on what he means by that. Come up with a better product then that's not a knockoff.
Yeah, and you made the point about China. That's the biggest problem, is they can just flood our market with the exact same thing that's not the exact same thing. So
it's junk.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not everything, but a lot of stuff that's comes out of there that's a knockoff is a junk. It's junk. The one wheel is a good example. Like, I don't know if I'd trust my life in one of those Chinese knockoff ones, right? Patent protection hurts consumers. I think that's true. I think it does, but come up with a better product. Come up with something that's not a knockoff. There you go. That doesn't hurt consumers. That helps consumers. Patent protection. So I completely agree here, but that's a one-sided argument, right? There's a whole nother side of this argument here that needs to be brought up and nobody talks about, or he didn't bring it up, but that is the reason why patents even exist to begin with, right?
Is this a option stream?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't mind talking about whatever, honestly.
I don't either.
Let the people in the chat discuss or bring up the topics, because
it's actually fun. It is.
Yeah, the EpiPen. So the drug thing's interesting because, Gerry, this is an interesting one because people will argue about cancer drugs are, $100,000 each, or a pill or something like that, or the EpiPens are $1,000 per shot or whatever. It's like, do you agree with that? Like, if there's companies like Pfizer or whatever, AbbVie, I don't know, whatever their company can charge whatever they want, right? Like, do you agree with that?
Well, there's got to be profit.
Yeah, so otherwise we would have no products.
Yeah, there has to be profit. There has to be reward.
But people are claiming that $100,000 per pill or something like that is way too much money, But
is it?
I don't know. There is a somewhat easy solution to that. open up other drugs from other countries to come into our country. There you go. That is something that we really need to open up and allow, and that would bring down drug prices here big time.
Yeah.
And that's been stopped at the government level. I don't know if Trump wanted to do that or not, but I know the Republicans are for that, but I don't know if they ever got it done.
That's why people go down to Mexico and buy their drugs over there.
Yeah, you can just go to another country and get it over there. But I get it to a certain extent. If the price is just like, I mean, who's to say $100,000 per like cancer drug pill is too much? I don't know. That thing could make you freaking be on top of the world for 5-10 years. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know what it does. You know what I mean? But what would be the opposite if there was no we already talked about this basically, but if there was no capitalism, there would be no incentive to create these products to begin with, really, right? Like we wouldn't have all these awesome products. You know what I mean? This is not an iPhone, by the way. This is awesome. I just, everything that we have here, Gerry, your microphone,
Yeah.
There would be no incentive to create these products if there's no profit. There's no capitalism, which makes our lives even better. So there is a give and take. There is a slight balance there, but I think you definitely have to be careful trying to prevent capitalism or trying to prevent people making profits. That's a very slippery slope. Not worried about material things, rather life-saving things. I agree.
But there's still a cost to everything. So if it's $100,000,
spend millions and millions of dollars developing these products.
That's what I'm saying. Who pays for it?
Yeah, it's not the government. The government pays for it. You're paying for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how drugs work, like prescription drugs. Don't they have like a lockup period, like 5 years or something like that?
Yeah, and then generics can come in.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a somewhat of a closes the gap a little bit, right, of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because the company's got to make money, right? They spend all the time developing it, like doing all the trials and stuff. Like it's a long process. And then to be able to come out with this product and then somebody coming out with like a generic coming out right away with the same thing, that's not fair.
But yeah, that's not right. But then the argument is there's a lot of governmental us funding these research and development and all that stuff. So we're pouring the money in, and then when the product comes out, we got to pay. So we're getting like double tapped here. You know what I mean? So,
well, there's an easy solution to that too. Don't use prescription drugs. That's debatable, but here the thing is, I honestly believe, I don't know if all good's here, but I just really believe that the body takes care of itself. And the reason why your blood pressure is high is not because your diet or what you're eating or the lack of exercise, or it's something like that. So they put you on a drug to fix that, right? But it doesn't fix it. It's not fixing the issue. It's artificially fixing the issue by taking care of the high blood pressure by doing something else. But guess what? It actually causes a whole other issue. So you end up being on another drug for diabetes or something like that. It kind of goes in a circle. Like literally the type 2 diabetes drugs, some of that stuff lowers your insulin or whatever. I don't know. It like literally causes, I think it's this cholesterol drug, if I'm not mistaken. The cholesterol drugs literally cause the same issue. They cause cholesterol. It's so weird how it's like in a loop, but people don't realize it. Anyways, what drugs can do is make your life, if you're suffering from something or whatever, it can make dealing with those things easier. But I don't think it's not a fix for the issue. It's like a Band-Aid. That's how I kind of look at it. It's not just because it lowers your cholesterol, you need to figure out why you have high cholesterol to begin with.
Right.
It's not because of the bacon. It's not because of the meat. It has anything to do with that, Anyways, watch some of those, look up Ansel Keys and look up Ansel Keys and the keto diet's a good example, but Ansel Keys doctored the results from doing a study on like 22 countries, and threw out a bunch of countries that didn't support his hypothesis. And guess what? That's what gave us the low carb frenzy back, I don't know, that started in the 60s or something like that. So they cut out all the fat from all the products and then threw in something else in there, sugar and carbs, and that's why we have an epidemic of obesity and type 2 diabetes. I am not against patent protection. Companies spend millions of dollars on R&D. Completely agree. I'm not against patent protection either. Now, I agree with what Ryan Giffen said. It's bad for consumers, though. I agree. It is. But I completely understand why patent protection exists, and I'm for it. Because if I developed a product, I would want my product to be secure, right? I want to be able to make money off it. It costs me, millions of dollars to make it or whatever, right? That's why we need to go after China for all the stuff that they're knocking off. But hey, everybody, I hope you're having a good night. I hope you're having a good night too, Christian. Deserve to recoup those costs without someone else stealing the ideas and copying. I agree. Yeah, so the answer to this, I finally got to this question. Hey, Dave, are you applying Roth conversion ladder to your early retirement journey? Yes, I'm going to, but it doesn't make any sense to do it while I'm working because I'm in a higher tax bracket when I work. And the money that you convert gets taxed as ordinary income. So I want to be in a lower tax bracket when I start the conversions. But even then, I don't know if I'll ever be able to convert enough money out of there to drain it to zero. I'm going to be making too much money on that side to be able to, because, draining like $40,000 out a year plus whatever, it's like, I don't think I can do it, but it'll be part of the strategy. I think I'll document it. MJ is co-owner of a basketball team and doesn't have, no, I don't even know. I don't think it was 900 million. I think that's still wrong too, but it's definitely not $1 billion. Million. So 900 million. That could be, but he didn't make a lot. He made a lot throughout his career, like his basketball career. But if you look now, like, 1 year at NFL, like those people make more than he made like in his own entire career and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's all into, you're talking licensing and, all that
absolutely. Absolutely. Hanes and all that bullshit. Or was it? No, Fruit of the Loom. Not Hanes. Fruit of the Loom. You notice how they never showed him in his underwear? My mom used to always say that. Why don't they show him in his underwear? I'll tell you why they don't. Let's see here. Love Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme IPO coming. Oh, there you go. There's a healthy stock.
No. Krispy Kreme went public years ago.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Let me see.
Under what brand?
Krispy Kreme.
No.
Maybe they went private after they went public.
I think there was something that happened, if I recall. They might have been owned by somebody else, and they were public.
They were public like years ago, and then they went private then. Because I thought my mom invested in Krispy Kreme.
Remember Winchell's?
Oh, of course. Winchell's and Dunkin's were the two best out there. Dunkin' Donuts is good too. Look, folks, you don't even know what you're missing. Those Winchell's, Dunkin', and the last one I mentioned. What was the last one? Dunkin' Donuts, Winchell's. Those two mainly. I came up with an imaginary third one apparently. Winchell's and Dunkin' Donuts don't. Krispy Kreme doesn't even compare to those two. in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah.
Like you
I go
don't
to.
even understand what you're missing. You go to Krispy Kreme and you think those are good donuts. Those are junk compared to Winchell's and Dunkin'
Yeah,
Donuts.
I don't. I've gone there a couple of times. They don't do anything for me. Little tiny old one bite donuts.
It's all about the cakey donuts back in the day, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Krispy Kreme doesn't make. I think they make cakey donuts, but look, those. I'm talking about the ones with the yeast and that like the donutty taste, you know, not those pastry things that are just gooped with a bunch of goop, right? Custard filled. I mean, you know, not like an American pie custard filled, but just American, you know, just custard filled, right? Gave everybody the bad image with that one.
Yeah, that's not gonna. Now I don't want to. Yeah, that used to be my go-to as a custard fill.
Chocolate
Now I
bars are
don't.
my favorite. Winchell's and Dunkin' Donuts. Winchell's for, yeah, man. People gotta. Is Winchell's not around anymore?
I don't think so. And if they are, they're very limited. I don't have one in my town.
So the next best thing is actually just going to your local donut shop because
Yes, your
they should be
local,
making literally the same type of cakey donuts and all that stuff, right?
usually owned by Asians, and yeah.
Yes. My dad always wanted to have a donut store. That was one of his dreams. He never did it, but he wanted to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, actually, you probably need to get up earlier than that,
No,
4 o'clock in the
yeah.
morning.
You get up at like 4
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning.
and then you just go in there and get me a dozen donuts. You know, you get to pick all these different flavors. I'll tell you what, growing up, because he used to get up in the morning. Like we're kids, we get up at 10. And we come out. He's reading the Sunday paper, and there's a dozen donuts sitting there, and the good kind. Oh, those are the
The,
days.
the grease is going through the pink box.
Yes, chocolate bar, baby. SCOTUS rejected the appeal of the Johnson Johnson, and they ended up paying. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, she's a real piece of work. No, wait. Secretary of State, not the Vice President of the the Secretary. Who's the Secretary right now? Is that Condoleezza Rice or somebody or what? It's Rice, right?
I think so. I think she's still in it.
One of the Rices, I think. Why would the Secretary do that? You sure it wasn't the VP or the POTUS? DuPont Company, which invented Kevlar, knows the military wants this. We'll make vests. How much is a life worth? Well, they won't pay 10 million, but they will shame them into paying one. Yeah, well, Kevlar. Those things don't cost that much, but anytime the government's involved, you're going to pay a boatload of money. That's just the thing. You've heard of the, $1,000 toilet seats and the,
Yeah.
$100 bolts, right? And that's when I was working for. When I was a government contractor, I was working for the prime, right? Well, guess what? The prime is required to have subcontractors. That's part of the agreement. For every prime, they always have to have subcontractors too, right? So my company was a sub of them. Guess what? I bet you that prime was charging like over $1 million for me to be out there to work, right? And guess what? The prime takes a big cut of that. And guess what? My company took a big cut of that. And then they pay me, right? What if they just allowed me to go work directly for the government, right? Instead of charging $1 million, like, guess what? I'll charge you $400,000. They save the country saves $600,000. Everybody's better off. You can't do it. I can become like an LLC. I can become my own company and try to go on there and bid for it and all that, but that's not easy to do. Just think about all the waste that the government, anytime the government's involved, everything costs an arm and a leg. And this is exactly what he's talking about right here. How much a person need in VYM to retire from options? Options? Well, how much money do you need to live on each year? That's the first number you need to figure out. It pays about what, 3% yield?
Yeah,
So $1 million gives you 30 grand. You can do covered calls on it. It's not very easy. You might be able to get another 1% out of it pretty easily. So 40 grand with $1 million. Is that enough to support your Coke habit?
That's without selling your principal.
Yeah, that's not touching your principal. Well, that's not what he's talking about. I mean, he didn't mention principal. It's just, it pays about, I think, a 3% yield right now. So let's see, VYM. Shit. VYM. Oh, shit, it's not even 3%. 2.8.
Now? Oh.
No, 2.8. That's with the market coming down the last 2 days. Oh, this drop looks pretty. It doesn't look. It looks scary. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but $28,000 on $1 million just in dividends. So, how much do you need to live off of a Golden Boy? What's the cost over there in Kuwait? And then you make maybe another 1%. So another what, 10 grand maybe, just in cover calls.
Can they do that over there?
Should. Might cost them more to do the trades, but I don't know. The building blocks of our cells are made up of the food we eat. Probably. You are what you eat. That's why they say that, I suppose. Fortunately, it costs money to eat healthy. Like it's a lot more to eat healthy, if that makes any sense.
A lot.
A lot. Probably like almost double, not quite double.
I'd say more than double.
I could go to eat out. I could probably eat for, right now I spend $100 to $150 a week on food, a whole paycheck. I could probably eat for, you're probably right. I could eat half that, I suppose, from Walmart, right? Well, granted, Walmart's got better stuff now than they had. Like they've really transitioned a lot of their. And the sad part is this is truly sad, honestly. It depends on where the Walmart is, on the quality of the food that they have there. Yeah. If it's a lower income area, they carry lower quality food. They don't even have a lot of the options like in the better quality area. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad.
No one would buy it.
Exactly. What'd your wife say? She blurted something out. If I may ask, what's your status with Matt Money? Could not help but notice y'all haven't been there Friday. I was there Friday. I was there for a short amount of time. I was trying to edit a video, but I showed up for a while. I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. Left some comments and stuff. So
I haven't been showing up. My Fridays, everything just happens at the opportune time or the wrong time. Like this Friday, we went, where did we go? We went to, I took my son to go get glasses. He had a eye doctor's appointment. Then we went to freaking Winco and went grocery shopping. Then we went to Costco, and then we got home. It was like 9 p.m. So it's like everything's done. So that's the way things have been working. And I spent about what I spent? I spent about $150. That's for almost 2 weeks for a family of 4.
Yeah, but you just made my point.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what would I have to? I'd have to spend probably 4x that to do what you do.
Whole paycheck. I mean, there's a reason why they call it whole paycheck. That place is expensive. Everything you get there is expensive. And just because it's whole paycheck and it's whole food doesn't mean everything in there is good for you.
Yeah.
You just know that, right? In general, almost everything in there is better for you than what you get at Walmart. But not every Walmart, because I've seen some good stuff at Walmart too. Like it's even some of the products I could get at Walmart, I could get at Whole Foods. right? Or vice versa. So, and Whole Foods charges more for them, of course, but a good example is like a mayonnaise, right? Like all mayonnaise is not created the same. Like Best Foods is junk. It's made with like soybean oil or something like that, right? Or canola oil. Well, a lot of the products at Whole Foods are made with canola oil too, right? And it's junk. It's really crap oil. It's like an industrial grade oil for freaking lube and industrial products or something like that, But the refining process that they do for those products at Whole Foods is, it might be non-GMO too, because I think almost all canola oil is all GMO. Almost all corn oil is. Soybean oil is almost all GMO. But I still won't buy it. Anything that has canola oil in it, I don't want canola oil in my body, So I buy stuff that's made with coconut oil or avocado oil or something like that. That's a better quality product. So let's just give you an example there. Soybean oil is the worst. Canola oil is like the second worst. This just gives you an example, though, that they do carry stuff there that has lower quality crap in it, but it's a little bit better than what you could get at Whole Foods, or excuse me, what do you call it? Walmart. Can you do options in a traditional IRA and Roth IRA? Yes, you can, but you're limited in what you can do. The types of trades you can do.
You can't do naked anything in there.
No, and you can't even do like some spreads and stuff, right? Yes, we got Thumper here kind of answering the question. You need the shares or cash to cover the plays you make. Yeah, because retirement accounts are not margin accounts. That's the reason why you can't do that type of stuff. Some brokers will let you do poor man covered calls or spreads, but others don't. Yeah, Crispy Kramer did go public. See, I knew I was right.
See, I think that's what I was saying. I think something happened, and because there was a Krispy Kreme that came in years ago into my city, and it freaking closed down, shut down. I was like, this place was packed like 24/7. I was like, how did this just shut down?
Krispy Kreme, because I used to go street racing in Sacramento a lot, and we'd always meet up at the Krispy Kreme. And that place was packed. Like, it was always packed. And this was like back in the early 2000s, I think, somewhere around there. And it was packed, like probably around like 2002, 2003. And I know they IPO'd back then because I know for a fact that she invested in Krispy Kreme back then. And somebody told her, don't invest in food stocks ever. And it's kind of true because Krispy Kreme came on the market and they literally took the market by storm, right? I'm not talking about the stock market. I'm talking about like the donut market. But I'm like, it never really was something I really cared about. It literally was like eating a packet of sugar. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't the cakey kind of donuts I want, Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they went public.
He's got James got it down below. Symbol was KKD.
KKD. Yeah. The Boston Market, I think, well, I mean, I don't know if they were ever public, but they did file for bankruptcy too back in like late 90s, I think. Luckily, they survived. I love their cornbread. I'm not a big cornbread person, and I love their meatloaf. You can still see the chart up 2016. What happened? Did they go private?
Yeah, see, that's what I want to know because that Krispy Kreme in my town, it was around that era, maybe a year before that it came up, blew up. Everybody freaking talked about it, lying around the freaking street. And then a year later, it closed down. And we were like, what the heck? And now just last year, they opened up a new one. So weird.
Does it look the same?
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
See, Krispy Kremes, I don't think ever went away. Because even when I was working in Qatar, like they had Krispy Kremes there. They'd get, big old box of them, And I mean, it's just, they're junk donuts. They're just junk donuts to me, They're just not the same thing. And do they taste good? Yeah, it's like eating, pure sugar, really. Is it possible you can share some VO premiums you may have seen for cover calls. I don't know about VU.
They'd be
Is there any
light.
premium?
They'd be
Why
light.
don't you just invest in SPY if that was the case?
If you're wanting to do options on the S&P, you got to be an SPY.
Yeah. So VYM and a couple of the other ones, you could probably do cover calls against. But if you want to do cover calls on VU, it's got to be SPY. There's
I mean,
nothing
they're
else.
there. They're there. They're just not as flexible. They're only going to be 30 days. They're only going to be monthly options. And
Premium's not going to be as good.
It might be like $5 increments even. So though you get more flexibility out of SPY.
Yeah. I'm going to probably end up going that route. Wait, I better back that up. Not for my dividend portfolio, but for my options account, when I'm on the AT or whatever, even when I'm not on the AT and I'm running the Theta Gang bot or something like that, I might be just strictly doing VU, not VU, SPY and QQQQ. QQQ, 3 Qs. SPY and QQQQ. QQQQ, no. God dang it. SPY and QQQ. So I'll be doing like 60-40 or something like that. Like 8 to 10 contracts each. And then just running that at like 10% or 50% delta. There you go. Easy, set and forget. 1% to maybe 1.5% a month. With sleeping good at night. No IRAs. Yeah, there you go. Then back to 20. Nothing like eating a hot Krispy Kreme right off the production belt. When I used to work with my father as a teenager, we would slide into the Krispy Kreme shortly after midnight. Yeah, but can you imagine having a fresh off the freaking assembly line cakey donut from Winchell's? And honestly, I haven't been to Dunkin' Donuts in a long time, but Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, they're just like at Winchell's, right?
Yeah, a little bit. They're basically the same.
Yeah. What are you talking about? You're not.
Well,
He's older than us. And Krispy Kremes didn't even exist.
Krispy Kremes, the hot, fresh little glazed donuts. I mean, you put
What
it
I'm
in your
saying
mouth
is
and it just kind of disappears. It's like
how did
cotton
he work
candy.
with
It's
his
almost
father
like
as a
cotton candy.
teenager when Krispy Kremes didn't exist when he was a teenager?
Maybe they did.
No, I don't think so. Krispy Kremes did not exist when I was a teenager. He's older than I am. Unless somebody knocked off the name long before,
Yeah, founded in 1937.
So you know what it was then? Is just like a lot of other companies that started in other places, but they stayed there and didn't go national. So I never knew.
Like it's interesting, like Chick-fil-A, how Chick-fil-A
Yes,
became a thing. Like Chick-fil-A
exactly.
was like nothing when I was a kid. There was like one in the mall, and everybody was like, "The hell is this thing?" And now they're
Well,
freaking everywhere.
let me just say this. I don't even know how you found one in the mall because we used to go to the mall a lot growing up. I lived in California, right? There was no Krispy Kreme or there was no Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
The first time I had Chick-fil-A when I was in tech school in the military, which was in Biloxi, the hell's Biloxi? Mississippi.
Mississippi.
There was a Chick-fil-A there, and one of the guys that we went to, we kind of got off base. We went over there. Oh man, let's get some Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, the hell's this shit? I don't want this crap. Never heard of it. So that's when that's when I heard of it.
It was in the Solano Mall in Fairfield. And as teenagers, we couldn't afford it. We were broke, but they'd always stand out there with a tray with little chicken pieces on toothpicks. And
they still do that.
We just walk up and down the mall grabbing the free samples.
That's interesting because I had never seen one in there before. I mean, shoot, the first time I ever heard of Chick-fil-A, I was 27 years old.
But I never ate there. I never ate there until a couple years ago when it came here.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I'm not. It's just okay. They actually pretty good shakes, but let's talk about some deep fried tacos from Jack in the Box.
Hey,
So
two for $1, man. Couldn't
yeah,
beat
until
that.
E. coli scarce. Yeah, that it used to be $1. You remember when they weren't two for 99, and every once in a while they put a special for 2 for 99. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
2 for 99. You know,
Let's
and
go
then
get
the E. coli
10.
scare happened. They did 3 for 99. The horse food. No, the horse meat
Horse
issue.
meat.
Yeah, horse meat issue. Yeah, that's when I first heard about Dillard's too, because Dillard's didn't exist in California.
I
Um,
never really heard of Dillard's until I started
exactly.
trading. Until I started trading options just recently. I mean, it was in the back of my head, like I heard it before. But look at the chart on that sucker. That sucker took a run. I made a little bit of money on that in the past couple months, but
But so Dillard's has been around for a long time, but I had never heard of it until I was in Mississippi for tech school. It was at the mall. I'm like, how's this place? You know, it's a Macy's, but honestly, if you've been to a Macy's and a Dillard's lately, Macy's has really become like the J.C. Penney, right? And the Dillards kind of became the Macy's. And now Nordstrom became the Macy's, right? Well, Nordstrom's a Nordstrom, but you can't, like, Macy's used to be the shit. You used to carry around with those bags, you're like the shit. You know what I mean? Now it's all about the Nordstroms now, you know. Or
so
if you
now
want to get beyond that, it's,
who's the Montgomery Ward then?
that's gone. Yeah, there is no Montgomery Ward anymore. Monkey wards. Yeah, nobody knows what we're talking about probably,
Probably not.
um, but anyways, apologies to you, a grateful man, because I was wrong. I didn't know that Krispy Kreme existed. So it was one of those companies that existed somewhere else, probably stayed like, localized to that area, maybe spread to a couple of different states, and it never made it to California until 2000, like after 2000. It's the same thing with Carl's Jr. too, because a lot of people don't know what Carl's Jr. is, but they know it on Hardee's, right?
Right.
Same darn thing.
Just like rallies and checkers.
Yeah. Jack in the Box didn't exist in a lot of states too. They closed a lot of them down, but they existed all over California growing up.
Long John Silver's is disappearing.
Ah, man. Hush puppies.
Hush puppies, baby.
Yeah. That fish is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, so before we were coming back, I think we were coming back. Yeah, the day we got in our accident, man, we were going to get freaking Long John Silver's. Yeah, I think it was on the way back. Didn't get to eat it. Let's see here. And to get a couple of those hot glazed donuts in a cup of coffee to make that way you have a crash about an hour later. SCOTUS is, okay. I thought it was Secretary of State. SCOTUS. Secretary of the United States. I thought that's what SCOTUS was. Am I wrong there, Gerry?
I thought it was too. I thought I had something to do with that.
Maybe SCOTUS and SCOTUS there's two different SCOTUSes.
There's two Scots. The two Utes.
Ute. See, I remember a Sacramento radio talk show host that was originally from Texas getting really, really excited when Chick-fil-A was going to open. I wonder who that was. Was it Rob, Arnie, and Don back then? I think it was Rob, Arnie, and Don. Because one of those guys was kind of a good investor and all that back when Martha Stewart went to jail or something like that. And he's like, watch this, man. This stock is going to skyrocket, and he was right. The thing did skyrocket when she, I don't know whatever it was. She got out. I don't know what it was, but the thing skyrocketed and he was right. It was Rob, Arnie, and Don. I missed that talk show. But yeah, I grew up. I spent a lot of time in Sacramento. Oh man, yeah. See, there's somebody that knows Montgomery Ward.
I still have my Yamaha tower speakers sitting in my living room that I bought from Montgomery Ward.
So Montgomery Ward's we bought like, I think it was from there. I think that's where we bought our like almost all of our furniture from as like kids and stuff. Beds, like it's like a showroom, you know what I mean? It's like a showroom experience, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like an IKEA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone. They're long gone. Service merchandise, Best, Treasury, Gemco. Nobody knows what we're talking about, probably. That's all California crap, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So basically, I think Gemco, not Best, but so Gemco, I don't think Treasury existed where you exist. Now it only existed in Southern California, but so think of just Gemco being a Target. It's almost the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Mervyn's went away recently though.
Well, Target bought Mervyn's and then closed them.
I didn't know that. Why'd they do that? High Sierra. It was all about those High Sierra clothes. That's where we shop before back to school shopping. High Sierra. You're thinking the Secretary of State. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Isn't that the SCOTUS? Secretary of the United States. Yeah, it's SCOTUS. So I never heard Supreme Court of the United States, but I assume that's the same darn thing. So yeah, Rob Arnie and Don. I missed that show. Only one SCOTUS. Well, one SCOTUS made of 9 members. No, what about the Secretary of the United States? Secretary. Oh, okay, there's no C in Secretary there.
Secretary, it's SOTUS, so it's the SOTUS.
I guess.
The SOTUS?
I always thought the SCOTUS was the Secretary of the United States. I don't know why I missed that, or how I missed that. Hey, I never claimed to be the smartest, the sharpest tool in the shed here, folks. Condoleezza Rice. So I was right with her.
Hasn't been a Secretary of State since.
Wait, I wasn't right with her. Who is then right now? I thought it was one of the Rices. Did they bring her back on to do something? Spontaneous combustion, freaking video or whatever. That's all I remember her for. The spontaneous freaking video comment that she made, and she screwed up and trying to cover up this and that, blah blah blah. So who's the secretary right now, Gerry?
I don't know. That's kind of sad. That I've turned off the world for the most part.
Probably all of it.
I used to follow it all, but I just recently
Secretary of State
turned it off.
Blinken?
Blinken?
Yeah, Anthony Blinken. Tony, good old Tony.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, me neither. Montgomery Ward, Monkey Ward, yeah. I don't know when they went away.
Oh, Sears.
Honestly, Sears bought all our newlywed furniture, including the Monster 25. Yeah.
The 25-inch TV was like the biggest TV you can get at the time back in the day. If you had a 25-inch, you were
TV back then.
Well, yeah, you were really rich then. But I'm talking about the 25-inch TV that actually was a piece of furniture that sat on the floor.
Oh God.
Yeah. Then you sat stuff on top of it, and when the 25-inch broke down, you set the new TV on top of it.
Yeah, that's how TV stands came about.
Yeah.
Do you remember record players too that were also a piece of furniture?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Opened
My
up.
dad had one. This thing was huge. It looked like a dresser, and you lift it up, and it's like record player in there.
Had a cabinet down below for all the records. 2 speakers on the side.
Yep. I wish I had that to this day. I wish I had that. It's like some of that old stuff, man. It's like you get rid of it. Now it's all making it back in fashion. Records are back in fashion. It's like, jeez. We just gave all that. We threw it away, sold it at garage sales for pennies.
Yeah, it was junk.
Blinken, you missed it, and you'll miss it. Yeah, Blinken. He's probably not doing much. It's probably we don't really fucking know. Who did I say that? We don't know who he is because he's not doing anything. Even bought a crate 350 for my 70. Oh, okay.
From Montgomery Ward?
From Montgomery Wards? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? I miss Sears. I really miss Sears.
We still have a Sears. It's closing down, but we still got it.
Yeah, ours is closed. We had one here, and up till about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, it's gone.
I think there's like a handful of Kmart's left.
I have no idea how they survived this long. We used to go to Kmart every Sunday after church too. Like that's where Grandpa always wanted to go, and we always split off too. The women and Grandma, Mom and all they all go to whatever, and we go because we know exactly where Grandpa's going. He's going to the tools,
You get the popcorn and the ices, and
yeah, blue light specials. I miss those days. You know what, folks? It's been 2 hours. I appreciate this kind of a little bit different type of stream. It actually was kind of fun. Hopefully nobody, takes takes to the stream and what we said and, like wants to unsub and all that crap because some people are just very, touchy about some of these topics we touched on today. There's always two sides of the story, right? And so anyways, hope everybody had a great Father's Day. It looks like that the market's down 225 right now. So it does look weak, and that candle on Friday made it look weak. So looks like some more down pressure, but just monitor positions, protect some gains, maybe take some winners off if you have any. And that way you can take advantage of the market being down, put some new shit on. But anyways, thanks, John Orwell, for saying that, and everybody else. Yep. We appreciate it. Jerry, you got anything to say here?
Nope. I want to say Kmart was owned by Sears. Everything Sears touched seemed to die. Because Sears used to own, I think, Orchard Supply Hardware, sold it to Lowe's. Lowe's shut down Orchard Supply Hardware. So
Orchard doesn't exist anymore?
No, they shut them down. Lowe's cut them. So everything that Sears was involved in kind of died off. So you're right. So, but anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for enduring my probably painful look on my face the whole thing. But appreciate you. Check out my channel if you haven't. Check out Dave's channel. Subscribe to Dave's other channel, Hidden Off Grid.
Yeah, I just put it in there. Go to the Discord if you want to chat more with us. But let me see if I can find Jerry's channel. Jerry's channel is down in the Jerry's channel is down in the description, by the way. If you ever want to, if you're new to Jerry anyway. But just to say this before we hang up, click. I think so. Lowe's took on the Craftsman series. I think tool. They carried that on. So I think you can still, I don't know for a fact if you can still bring a Sears tool in there and still get it exchanged, like their the wrenches and stuff that break and sockets, but they're carrying the line. So
that would suck if you couldn't.
Yeah, it would suck. But anyways, y'all, let's have a good week. Let's hope the market doesn't do, let's hope it's an organized sell-off anyway. Oh, well, see you later. Thanks a lot.